I played her on a weekday up in Virginia. And did
Good.
golf courses up there
Great.
before.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emily Truman. I serve as the 2025 Chair of the Gates County Board of Commissioners. I am joined by Commissioner Nathan Berryman, Vice Chair Jonathan Craddock, Commissioner Brian Roundtree, Commissioner Dave Forsyth, County Attorney Pitt Godwin, and Assistant County Manager Warren Perry. We also have Clerk to the Board Renee Draper. I would like to note that we will have a public hearing during this meeting as listed under new business, and a note for the audience that there are two separate sign-in sheets at the front, one for the general public comments and the other for public hearing comments. So if you have signed up to speak, make sure that you have signed up on the correct sheet. And at this time, I'm going to move forward with the prayer and pledge. So if we could stand for that. All right. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together for the county. Lord, we pray tonight that your hand be on all business that's conducted. Father, that you be with us as we move forward with the budget, that we move forward with other business on the agenda. Lord, that you be with us and let us have discussion that is conductive, that is civil, and Father, that is productive, and that does your will. Lord, we thank you for seeing everyone here safely. We pray for safe travels home, and that you be with those that were unable to be in attendance tonight, and that you see them through. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So the next item is the approval of the agenda. I do need to bring up one addition to the agenda. The clerk to the board updates to follow after budget amendment and the new business section. I'm just trying to make sure I have that right here. Yes. So if we could make a motion to add the clerk to the board updates following budget amendment and new business. So it will be moving to item E, and that would move public hearing down to item F.
So moved.
All right.
We'll say.
Okay, and so we have a motion and a second. All in favor of that addition? All right, there we go. Do we have any other motions for additions to the agenda? No? Do we? Okay.
I would like to add going into closed session, please.
Okay, and so we have a motion to go into closed session, which would follow the approval of the agenda, or follow the approval of the consent agenda. So do we have a second for that?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor of going into closed session?
Madam Chair.
Oh, sorry, any discussion? There we go.
Yes, I have a discussion. I wanted to know the closed session, is it exclusively personnel?
Yes, sir. Exclusively.
Exclusively personnel?
Yes, sir.
No further votes or anything of that matter?
No, we will not be voting in closed
votes.
session.
Oh,
No,
okay,
sir.
okay.
No, it's purely personnel discussion.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So we have the motion on the floor for closed session, and we have a second. Any further discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor? All right, that is unanimous. So we will be adding closed session to the agenda following the consent agenda approval. All right. We have received the consent agenda ahead of the meeting. Do we have any questions regarding the consent agenda items or any clarification on any item needed?
Could we ask in this case, a large public here, just what's on the consent agenda? Could we have a list of those? Can the clerk read those?
It's
Just the minutes. Okay.
May minutes.
Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
Oh.
May 21st regular meeting and May 28th special meeting with the
Work,
joint session.
work session, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, so if we do not have any further discussion, if we could get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All right,
Second.
second, all in favor of approving? Okay, unanimous, so we will move forward. And I will verify, we need a motion to go into closed session, correct? The, yeah, right, okay. Which is the very back page of this here. I don't see. For personnel. Okay. I'm going to have it, but it didn't say what it states, that's all. I wasn't sure if I have this here pursuant to. Okay, so it doesn't need to read anything. All right. So I'm going to go, if we can get a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143, 318.111, to discuss personnel. You got to have an audible motion.
Making that motion, please.
All right,
to go
and
into
a
closed
second.
session.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Okay, we have 4. Any opposed? Okay, we have 4-1 vote. We will be going into closed session. All right, so if I can get a motion to come out of closed session.
So move.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous, okay. We are out of closed session. Okay, so I'll say, do we have any comments from the board before we move on?
Actually, I would, kind of related to some things, but I want to make a motion for us to pass a resolution to support the coach's submission of the girls softball team that was done on Friday or Monday, be approved and pushed forward so they can participate in softball All-Stars.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a first and a second. I'm going to open it for conversation and discussion. Do we have anyone that would like to?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to have discussion. I feel like it's the responsibility and jurisdiction of the director, of the program manager, to make decisions concerning who go to All-Stars. It was expressed by the All-Star Association. It was expressed by the county manager, and it's also expressed by me. I believe in doing things the right way. These young ladies, unfortunately, they registered beyond the deadline. Unfortunately, they didn't pay. Knowing that, they are illegal players. Who's the victims? The victims are the ones that paid. The victims are the ones who didn't meet the deadline and didn't get to play. I believe in corrective action. Corrective action is once you know you made a mistake, correct it right then. This shows our children that we're working with integrity, which is so important. Because what message are we sending our kids when we can undermine and go and get what we want by trying to contact the powers that be? We need to be fair across the board, and that's my stance. And also, it's not our jurisdiction. Like I said, I want to reinforce that. It's not our jurisdiction. And to take taxpayers' money and to waste my time and everybody's time over this instead of taking care of things like the budget, instead of taking care of things like infrastructure, instead of taking care of things like funding, we are majoring on the minor and minoring on the major. Priorities. Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you all. We're going to let the next commissioner have the opportunity.
You're exactly right, Commissioner. We should not be at this level talking about these types of things. You're exactly right. But it is up to us to deal with things when things are brought forth from the community en masse that we should take care of. Because there was multiple people that called. So we have to take care of those type of things. And sometimes we have to, write things. And that is the right thing to do. I'm not going to let people stand and say that, you know what, I didn't stick up for those little people, right? I didn't stick up for people who didn't, that were not allowed, that didn't have a voice. And I'm going to stick up with people that didn't have a voice. And the young people of our county don't have a voice. So let everybody play. I judge everybody the same. Judge everybody the same. Because if you judge everybody the same, you don't have all this. Two wrongs don't make a right. And we have to make sure that we continue to move down that road. And it should not be at the county's level, at the county commissioner's level, to deal with something like this. I agree 100%. We should be dealing with other things. So
we're going to have silence so those at home can hear this conversation.
So at the end of the day, when a wrong was made at the very beginning, you have to nip it in the bud at that point in time. We got good people that work for the county that, hey, sometimes we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. I run a very large business. I make mistakes, and I have to look for people around me sometimes to guide me in the direction that I need to go in. And people who's willing to stand up to say that. And that's okay. At the end of the day, we have people that are in place to do that. And then we also have people that can help guide them to make the correct decisions. I am voting for the girls to play.
Okay, well, sir, hold on.
Because I'm not going to allow, I just don't see how that's right.
Okay, all right. For the next, we have Vice Chair Craddock, Commissioner Forsyth. Liam?
Okay, I guess I want to go along the same lines. Some of these kids I've coached in years past. I've coached them at the community center and soccer and baseball, you name it. And we've had lots of years where my two kids, actually my 3 or 4 kids, and even many years ago, longer than that, go to register. There was lots of times where we registered late. Lots of people didn't know about it, wasn't advertised well. Kids want to come in late, and we want to make sure we have a team. So we say, sure, come on in and register late. Well, this all occurred back in the middle or second week of May that all of them came in and registered. Some of them didn't pay, and I'll say that if it was a matter of money, I've heard people before out there when somebody was registering, they're saying, my kid isn't going to play because I can't afford the money. Lots of times I've heard me and others say, well, we can pay a fee for them. And in this case, if it's a matter of the money, I'd gladly pay for all those girls' registration fees to make that happen. So I don't think it's a matter of money. I don't think it's about timing. I do think it's about a bunch of kids that just want to play, and I feel like the role of the community center really is to serve the community, all of us, to make it a point where we can all enjoy, can play sports, use the facilities, and anything other than that is, I think, just a bad decision. But even further, I mean, the names were submitted last Friday. We had the community center director meet with the other all-star, the other counties, meet with them, talk about it, register us, set up a bracket, and all of that occurred. And then even more, an email was sent out to those parents, those families, and said, yeah, your kid can play. And so all set in concrete. And then something happened, and that apple cart was upset. And to me, it seems clearly that, we should go forward with that. I mean, again, I think if we go to back out now, those other teams are going to have to go back and instantly rearrange their brackets and change it and drop out, and there's a lot of impacts.
All right, time.
It will reflect very poorly on Gates County if we don't fulfill what we do. And so there's no way I would want anything but us absolutely to support them going forward and playing.
Okay. Vice Chair?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I'll be brief. Sometimes I have to remove myself from situations, not think about what I would do, but to assess the situation. That's what I've done. There has been mistakes made. I'm sorry. There has been mistakes made, and we can learn from mistakes, write policies, make sure rules are followed. There is such thing as contractual agreements when you sign a piece of paper. But I do support the decisions of my county employees that I trust, county managers. So, it's that fence that you don't like to be on. I can see both sides. Everybody has valid points. But right's right, wrong's wrong. And you will tell that in my vote.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'm going to add, I think it's really sad that it had to come to the commissioner meeting. I think that there were, and I have said multiple times, I think that there were many mistakes made by 3 adults, primarily 2 adults. And I will say I wholeheartedly understand the program manager's stance on this. I agree with the contract. When a director receives a form and he is in a position to accept a form, that is entering that contractual agreement. I'm also going to say that, unfortunately, there were more than 3 girls affected because there were girls that were turned away after registration closed. after registration closed, and my heart definitely feels for them as well. Point blank, precedent says, and I have to agree, I have signed my kids up to play sports at the community center. Precedent gives late, after first practices have started, just before games came in. Precedent speaks volumes. Girls were not pulled from the field after game 1. They were allowed to complete the entire season. Precedent has said that they're a part of that team. At this point, brackets have been set, and unfortunately, somebody is going to be unhappy with whatever decision is made. I don't feel it should have come to this, but it has, and at this point, we have a motion and a second on the floor, and we will be calling for a vote by hand before moving forward. So we have no further discussion. Everybody has had their opportunity to say their piece. By show of hands, if you are in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All right.
We don't get a say in this?
Unfortunately,
Let me address you.
we have, per protocol, public comments are next, we have to vote.
As a father of a girl that's on that team.
Sir, we have to vote, there's protocol, unfortunately.
The one that's left
Okay.
out All-Stars when there's 13 spots.
Okay. By a show of hands, we had that approved. Those against, by show of hands? All right. We have 3 for, 2 against, so motion carries. All right. We are now moving into public. Yes, sir. At the commissioner comments, I think. Is that, commissioner comments, if we can, because they're going to go into public comment now.
Yeah.
It's just a resolution. It's just a resolution.
Resolution, yeah. But,
I don't think everybody understands. It's just a resolution.
okay, yeah.
Everybody don't understand. It's just a resolution.
All right. We are now moving into the public comment section of the meeting. Ms. Draper, are there any individuals signed up to speak for the board this evening?
The first one listed is Jessica Kilmer.
Okay. So we will have you to the stand. You have 5 minutes if you could state your name and your voting district for the record, and there will be a timer over on the clerk of court's table to show you your time. All right.
Can we put it up to 5 minutes longer?
Yep.
Thank you. My name is Jessica Kimmer. My voting district is here.
Can you pull the mic so that you can be heard? Yeah.
My name is Jessica Kimler. I'm voting district Gates. I'm here in representation for everything going on with the softball. Okay? If I don't file my paperwork right and on time, I don't get paid. Why should we teach these children to come in late? You still get rewarded. My kids are on time. My kids are on time. If parents have trouble, they can speak. But to pull children from other states to be able to have a winning team and leave out a Gates County child that has been on that team the whole time is not okay. And you're making it okay. We have a child in this courtroom right now crying her eyes out because you just said she cannot go to All-Stars because that coach will not take the whole team. He will only take the ones that he recruited to win and get a trophy. How is that okay? How am I supposed to teach my kids about government and right and wrong if this government in their county that we pour our love into does not stand up for them, does not stand up for the rules? How is that teaching them how to be an adult? Can you explain any of that to me?
I will say we are not able to engage during public comments except to ask clarifying questions.
That is a clarifying question, but that's okay. That's
No,
fine.
I mean, for us to ask.
That's fine. This does not need to happen again, period. This is not the commissioner's job to take care of this.
I agree.
But when it comes here, it needs to be voted right. It does not need to be voted that a child is left out that goes to these schools, that their parents put their money and pay their taxes here. We have people from other states coming in, not even donating, not putting in any effort. All the parents out there are volunteering. My husband is a coach. I am a volunteer coach. All 3 of my children go to Gates County. My business is here.
I will pull all of my money from this county if y'all keep taking away from my children. Period. And I know plenty of other parents that will do the same. You will lose the community center. You will lose the funding you get from this community by doing this to these children. It is not okay. We shouldn't be losing anyone. We shouldn't be having kids walk away. We shouldn't be thinking there's a risk of someone and his job who has made such an impact to our children. Babies run up to this man every day and hug him. Every single day. And if Jawan, the man we're speaking of, is taken out, if he's gone, if he's not in this community center, if there's any more problems, I promise you, you will lose the community center. You will not have the support. There's too many parents that put in too much time, sweat, and tears into this, and their kids are happy. He's an amazing man, and this is not okay. You need to re-vote. You should have heard from the public first. You should have heard from the parents. Specifically the one that his child is now losing out because you don't have all the facts. You just want to take phone calls behind closed doors and listen to other people and not let the community speak. That is not how this needs to be ran. I'm done.
Thank you. Do you have another? Chris Farrell? Okay. So again, there'll be a 5-minute timer there. If you could just state your name and your voting district.
My name's Chris Farrell. I'm from Hobbsville.
Just so that they can hear you.
You got it?
Thank
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Hi. How y'all doing tonight? As y'all can tell, I'm a little aggravated.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So, I got two sides of this, okay? Because I am a college coach. I coach for Mid-Atlantic Christian University. All right? And then I'm a father. And here's where I have an issue. Is I had a nice conversation with some very good friends of mine today. And I find out there's 13 spots for that all-star team. 13. Can any one of y'all tell me how many kids he submitted to go to All-Stars? Because I can. It was only 10. 2 will not be there due to they are going on vacation. That's unbeknownst to the team. One of them is not going because she just wasn't simply picked. But here's as a coach and a rec league, for God's sakes. If you have that many spots, why not take the whole team? So you want to let the other 3 go, okay? As a coach, fine. But here's what I highly suggest. You re-vote and you make the entire team go, not just 10. Take the 11. I wouldn't do that to any of my girls that are on my team at MACU. And I'll tell you right now, I can only travel with 10 people. I have 12 on my team. 2 cannot go at every tournament we go to. Plain and simple. And my kids come from around the world and around this country mainly. This is the problem we have with our coaches that just want to pick their teams. I don't agree with it. I never have. I never will. I go out and recruit my teams, yes. Do I always get the best? No. I coached at ECSU, couldn't put a team together. I had to pull kids off the campus, and here you go, my sport is bowling. I've done it since I was 2 years old. Turned pro at the age of 18, and I've coached ever since. But here's what I'll tell you. I took girls that never thrown a bowling ball a day in their life, and I turned them into champions. Because that's what coaches do. Not chase a darn trophy. And I'm really trying to watch my language, sorry. But to question the morals and ethics of this community center, God's sakes, people. This is crazy. That 24-year-old young man back there that is in question is a godsend to this community from Gates County and wants to be in this county. What does that tell him at 24? I'm 42. I've lived here 7 years. 7 years. And not once, and I'll be flat out honest with you, I don't vote. This is why. I was in the United States Navy, I didn't vote. You want to know why? My commander-in-chief told me what I could do and what I couldn't do. And that's what you're telling my daughter that's sitting back there right now. I don't agree with it because of one man. And I've known this man personally, and he knows me. And I hope he's watching right now. Because now you've barked up the wrong tree. And I will pull my kids out of it if that man back there at 24 years old is not there anymore. I will take them to another county. Because this is crazy. Every kid should go. Every kid. If you can allow them spots, every kid. Don't select your team. You want that? Go coach privately. Plain and simple. That's why I do it. I'll be honest, I can't do what half these coaches do out here at the rec. I can't. And I commend them for doing it. I go coach privately because I can get smaller groups and I can give more private lessons. Plain and simple. But don't sit here and terrorize one child for the sanctity of 3 that didn't pay, and I know I did. Thank you.
Do we have any further? That's it? Okay. Yes. Oh. All right. So we are moving on with the agenda. We will have commissioner comments at the end. I will state again, the way public comments work, we are not supposed to respond to public comments unless we have a clarifying question that we need to ask you for more information. So I do appreciate that there was questions asked, but we are not permitted to answer questions at this time.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Hold on.
Obviously, there's some misunderstanding or miscommunication or something like that going on. Because
We can't discuss that.
that's.
No, we can't discuss that.
Anything about personnel now.
We cannot discuss that.
It's not
No.
anything like that either.
You can't talk about it.
We can't discuss.
You can't discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was not,
You can save it to you. Close it.
okay.
Okay.
Anyways. Moving into staff comments, are there any staff members that need to come forward to address the Board of Commissioners? Any staff updates? Okay. I am absolutely going to let all of you speak. I just ask that you do it one at a time. That's all.
All right,
Yes, sir.
sounds good. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good?
Yes, sir.
All right, Robert Parris, work at the community center, fitness coordinator, mentor, coach, and just a leader for the youth. And so, we're here for one reason, and that's right and wrong, dealing with the community center and dealing with Jerome with it. And so, when I say we, stand up, y'all. The kids back there and the parents, they're here for him. That's the impact that he has on them. And so, hearing what's being said and what's being spoken, ain't nobody mentioned the problem yet. Jonathan Jones is the problem. There's no reason to keep things hidden. Because one thing about it is, this should have never been a commissioner issue. Because we have been put in position to handle these situations, and we do it right. And we do it the right way, and every kid be treated equally. Every kid. And so we have to turn kids away. Why? Because they met the deadline. Because if we keep doing it, people will keep doing it. So at the end of the day, guess what? What makes it right when 3 come in underneath from different states that's not even from this community and have the right to continue? So the season is over. It's up to our discretion if they playing all-stars. The season is over. He allowed them to finish the season. He didn't do nothing wrong. When he found out about the situation, he said, I'm not going to snatch them kids off that field because that's not who I am. He said, I'm going to let them finish in the season, but when they come to all-stars, they cannot play because it's up under our discretion. On a product, we can pull them at any time. We can send who we want to. Last year, we didn't send a whole group of kids to All-Stars because we felt they was not ready. It's up on our discretion. And so that being said, the reason that this became a commissioning issue, because y'all, a couple of commissioners got contacted personally. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And one thing about it is this. There's no person, listen, y'all took a personal interest in this, but we need to start taking personal interest in everything. This is small and minute. And so at the end of the day, it sounds like we're doing personal favors. It sounds like we're just doing things just for this person. And I'm saying this,
Mr. Harris, I want you to continue, but this needs to be able to be projected, and we cannot hear you. That's why I keep asking for the silence. You continue speaking, please.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So at the end of the day, if you feel like this is not a commissioning issue, why did you vote? Keep your hand up. Why did you vote? Keep your hands out of it. Let us do our job. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And we got to deal with the wrong. Because guess what? It might have been two individuals that was wrong, but Jerron Ritter was not wrong. And so at the end of the day, we're here to love these kids. We don't work for no paycheck. We work for these kids. We work for these youth. And anybody that try to come in and undermine our integrity, our character, when his integrity, his character, and what he stands for is being attacked, guess what? That's when we step in. This man was ready to leave the community center. Why? Because he felt like he was not worth his job, because a decision that he made was overturned. Because he said, why you hire him then? And so at the end of the day, we need to hold who's accountable. Listen, one thing about this county, there's no accountability. Why are we gonna keep sweeping it up under the rug? Let's bring it to the surface and let's deal with the issue at hand. As an employee at the Gates County Community Center, I love the community center. I only work for the community because I've been sent there by God. By God for the people. It's hundreds of kids there every day. You know why? Previously it wasn't. The kids couldn't even do nothing there. But now they're there, they love to be there, and they're supported 100%. And so at the end of the day, if you trust us to do this job, let us do our job. Let us do our job and let us deal with this situation. And so I think y'all need to do a revote. I think y'all need to vote again. Because at the end of the day, these three girls, they're wrong. They're not even from this community, because some information was said that they're from here. They're not from here. They're not from here. And so when a person tries to do what he wants to do, so he can get the credit, so why he's not here representing them? So we're representing him, because at the end of the day, when his character and everybody trying to drag him up under the mud, because he did so wrong, he didn't do no wrong, he loved the kids, and you can look right back and let them testify for you. That's all I got to say.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Parris is absolutely right. There were two people that made a mistake. I'm one of them. And when that mistake was made and caught and found, we did what we were supposed to do to fix it. And I think this is a slippery slope. I think if we undermine what we're here to do and aren't allowed to do what we know to do to fix the situation, then it opens Pandora's box for everybody else. And if I'm not wrong, I think I'm the only one here admitting fault. It did take two to tango. I was duped. I took something that I didn't know he knew about, and then here we are. I don't get to see Jawan every second of every day. He covers more in that department than just about, I don't know how he does it. He covers games, practices, free play, kids' fitness, whatever the case is, he's there doing it. He may not be there at 8 o'clock in the morning when something gets slid on my desk while I'm in the bathroom. But at 8 o'clock at night when he's out there at a game and he finds out about it, you do what you can right then. You have to fix it then, and that's what was done. And it would have been egregious to pull those girls off the field in front of their parents and friends. But he did allow them to finish, and that's because he's standing on principle. But All-Stars is not a privilege. I mean, it's not a right, it's a privilege. Like Mr. Parrish said, there is nothing guaranteed. And just for the record, it's a lot easier to pull a team out than it is to put one in. So when you don't know that you need to remove one, you don't do it yet. And furthermore, that information was told to Keith Ward before I ever told him, so I was undermined myself. My name's on the Tar Heel franchise as the league president, and I did not get to act as such. And I'm only on it because the person before him left, and that's how that happened, and now he will be eventually. Nevertheless, this isn't right, y'all. It's not right.
And Mr. Riddick, I said you go ahead. Yes, sir.
Good evening. First, I want to give honor to God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'm Jawan Riddick, I'm 24, rec program coordinator at the community center. I just feel like I talked to one person sitting up here before all of this had went down. Everybody else never had a conversation with me. So I just wanted to know how everybody had the right to turn my decision around the program that I'm in charge of, but I haven't seen nobody out there at 10:30 at night at a game. But the decisions that I make is for the programs, and when I think it's good, I'll make that decision, not to personally harm anybody or do something, because I'm not that type of person. And like they said, I figured the game was already going on when it happened, so I can let everybody know the facts right now, because nobody been told the facts about the situation. Our registration ends on March the 7th. I had a conversation with the coach, Mr. Jones. I said, I'll extend registration so you can have enough to play. They ended up getting 12 players. This is still in the month of March. We go on, we said we agreed this is the last players that we're gonna have. Okay. Fast forward, we go to the first game, which is May the 20th. I'm in the booth or whatever at the softball field, sitting with the parents and everybody else, and I hear names being called that I don't recognize. And once you look over registrations enough times, you know, you hear something like something ain't right. So I go home, I sleep on it that night. Next day, I bring it to Norris. I say, I feel like something ain't right. So we have a conversation, and then I find out what's going on. Nobody told me what was going on. I found out what was going on. Norris admitted his fault. He apologized for what he did. I said, Norris, this is what I'll do. I'm not going to want to snatch these girls off the field because that's not who I am. I said they will be allowed to finish this season, but they will not be eligible for All-Stars. That's what happened. And they did not even pay. They haven't paid at all. Nobody has offered to pay. The coach didn't offer them to pay. When you spoke on paying for kids' registration, the coach didn't offer to pay for nobody registration. I didn't even know about the papers being brought in. So I feel like it was out of the goodness of my heart and the leniency to let them girls finish the season. And like he said, All-Stars is a privilege. You know what I'm saying? And just to speak on what him back here said, the person came into my office and wanted to take personal jabs at me when you know nothing that I do. Talking about what I don't and do promote. How do you know that you're not in the community center 24/7 when registration is going on? So he wanted to take personal jabs at me saying that we're in the situation because I didn't promote. But you can go to every single school in this county and they see my face. I went to every single elementary school and the middle school and handed out flyers to everybody. You can ask the people at the front office if you want to do that. So to take personal jabs at me saying I'm not promoting and try to use it against me about he doing this for the kids, I don't like to pat myself on the back, but I take pride in doing for the kids at the community center. Stuff that I don't have to bring up. And the whole meeting that I had with this coach previous before I met with everybody else, which we shouldn't even had to do, it was, like I said, personal jabs and telling me that I'm penalizing the kids, trying to guilt trip me. I ain't penalized. I didn't put these kids in this situation. So that's not my responsibility. And he tried to use it against me as well that certain players was going on vacation. That's very unfortunate, and I'm sorry that they will be. But telling me that if I don't let these girls play, it won't be an All-Stars because I won't have enough. I'm sorry, that's not our problem. If people book vacations on the week of All-Stars, that's not our situation, that's not our problem. But I just feel like this should have been left to the community center, myself and us, because I talk to my colleagues about anything, whether I have to say so or not, because I respect them. But for everybody to be brought in because one person wanted to call a friend, and the last meeting that I had, that me and Norris, Mr. Perry and Mr. Sauer had, the last meeting that we had, which was Monday, the decision will be back into the hands of the community center. So I'm trying to figure out why we're here today. That was the last thing that was said. The last thing that was said to me and Norris was, decision is back in y'all's hands, and the commissioner's taking their hands out of it. And then, once I told Jonathan Jones the situation that has been said the whole entire time, we haven't switched the goalposts on anything. I stayed true to what I said. I didn't take personal jabs. I said that the team has been eligible to play All-Stars, but those 3 girls that did not pay are not. They are not eligible. And y'all gave the decision back to us. I told Mr. Jones what the situation was that was previous, and he called another commissioner. I guess another one of his friends, I'm guessing. So we came here 3 times. We had 4 meetings. We had 4 meetings in one day. We had 4 meetings in one day just because our decision wasn't enough. So I just want to know, how did we get here? If we can't be trusted to do our jobs, then are y'all gonna step in on every single thing? Y'all gonna take registrations too?
I will say,
That's all I got. Thank you to everybody.
we are allowed to communicate with staff during these comments. Public comment, we cannot. We can speak with staff. I 100%, and I told you, agree that it was all the way around wrong.
So it should be left to us.
And just hear me out, please. 100% agree. There have been a lot of fault and a lot of error. And as I had mentioned to you in conversation, when we did have that meeting, I personally feel like there need to be policies and procedures in place that are upheld going forward to protect you in your decision in that, because that has not been in place. And I do feel like, again, as I said, there were a lot of errors made. And
Just because a person made a mistake
No,
and put it
I
on our
understand.
backs and want to decide when and what happens after he
So-
did something on purpose.
so following
2 months after registration
Right.
is not right.
So following this becomes the internal staff issue, and we do need to have plans of procedure and stuff going forward. And so I appreciate
We do.
all of the input. I agree.
And I got
Appreciate
parents,
all of the input.
who I know personally who are close to me. I told they didn't get a
Okay.
chance to sign their kid up.
Okay, yes, sir. No, I understand. And like I said, at this point, we need to move forward from here. So,
I got a question. Just,
sir.
y'all refer
Hold on.
several times like
Hold
a
on.
threat on your job. Has somebody actually threatened you in your job or something? Because that's distressing. Been allegations that somehow that your job
repeat
was
that?
threatened.
Can you repeat that?
Has somebody made a comment that they're threatening your job?
They did that by going over my head.
all right. Be done.
We were told that if that's the hand you want to play, so be it. Sorry it had to come to this.
Yes, very brief.
We have basketball teams that we didn't send to All-Stars. We had a Hurricane football team a year and a half ago, forfeit games, and won't nobody call y'all in.
Yes, sir.
So one person make a call, and then all of this got to happen.
Okay.
We ain't doing nothing illegal. We injured
Sir,
nobody
I understand. It was more than one. I had a dozen calls myself.
because he told them to.
So, go ahead, Commissioner Roundtree.
That's
Commissioner
I want to address the staff.
Roundtree. If you can give them a moment to quiet down so you can be heard.
I want to address the staff, but first I want to take legal counsel. I want to get some legal counsel from Attorney Pitt Godwin. This vote is just a resolution, right?
Correct.
It's not something that's enforceable. It's just a resolution, right?
Correct.
So it's a resolution. So this really don't.
That's the last conversation that was told to me. It's in our hands.
Is that accurate, Attorney Godwin?
Well, it's a resolution, and there's no, I don't know if there's any consensus that we came to. It's just a resolution.
Right, it's just a resolution. Just a resolution, that's all it is.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to invite we have new staff introductions. I'd like to invite Mr. Greg Singleton to the podium to introduce our new employees of the Local Reentry Council, which I'm very excited to see come to fruition. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Truman and rest of the members of the Board of Commissioners, thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to share with you the new forward movement of the Local Reentry Council for Hertford, Bertie, Gates, and Chowan. We originally came before you guys January the 27th with the idea and the concept to develop a local reentry council for 3 reasons: to lower your prison recidivism rate, make your public safety, as well as to convert unemployed justice-involved people to gainfully employed justice-involved people, which of course creates taxpayers. Since that time, God has really put the wind to our back to be able to accomplish this in 5 months. It took me a year and a half to develop the Craven Pamlico Reentry Council. So to take on a 4-county LRC was a great challenge. So tonight, I am pleased and honored to introduce to you the 2 full-time case managers that will be working with your justice-involved population. And I say 2, because we know in business if you have one person and something happens, then things have a tendency to fall apart. So we want to put redundancy behind our work. So I'm blessed that these 2 already work great together. But your case manager and job placement specialist for Gates and Chowan is Miss Emily Nixon. Emily started Emma. And I'm looking at Emily, reading it off, reading the teleprompter. But Emma Nixon, she will be your case manager for Gates and Chowan. Special thank you to this Board of Commissioners, as well as the county manager, Mr. Scott, who is not here, who did an awesome job in facilitating office space and things of that nature. To my left is Mr. John Outlaw. Mr. John Outlaw started with us on May the 28th. He will be the full-time case manager and employment specialist for Hertford and Bertie. Hertford is my hometown. Wow. I went to the high school there before the come together, and we used to battle against Gates quite a bit. But it's good to be working in collective bargaining with you, opposed to battling you guys on the basketball court. I don't know if either one of them want to say anything. To introduce yourself, Emma, if you would. She wasn't anticipating this.
I'm originally from Proclamations. I grew up in the area, so I'm right in between, that's where I live now too. I'm right in between both of the counties I serve. I'm available if y'all need anything, if you have any resources that you already want to share with me. We're doing a lot of collecting resources, making relationships, contacting 4 million people to try to see what we've got and who we've got and who's willing to help right now. So that's our main focus before we, while we're getting this thing off the ground. Do y'all have any questions for me?
I would say I don't have any questions. I don't know if they do, but I do want to say thank you, and I'm so excited. And if you have not made the connection with obviously our sheriff and law enforcement, that would be a great connection to make before you leave. But no, we're excited. Mr. Outlaw.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Outlaw. I am a native of Windsor, North Carolina. And as Emma has stated, I am here whenever you need me. I am a phone call or email away. And if you do have any resources for Bertie, Hertford, or even Chowan or Gates, I'll be happy to take those as well. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. And thank you, Mr. Singleton.
Yes, and they're going to be coming to you guys periodically to give you an update as to the status and connecting with your opioid task force person to ensure that that trust factor is taking place with the community. So again, spread the word for your justice-involved people. Even if you've gotten out of prison 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the stain is still there, and we want to help remove it. So thank you for this opportunity, and good to see you, Commissioner Day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to ask Mr. Warren Perry, HR Director and Assistant County Manager, to come to introduce the new county hires.
All right, Ms. Christy Gaskins, can you come forward? Thank you for coming tonight. So Christy Gaskins has spent most of her career in the healthcare industry. She has been with the Board of Elections since November of last year, and we're fortunate to have her as the Elections Director as of April of this year. So we want to welcome you and thank you for working in the Elections Department.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome to speak.
Like I said, my name is Christy Gaskins. I've been here in the county almost 18 years. I'm originally from Pitt County, and I do look forward to working with the county and the citizens of Gates County, and it's good to be here.
Excited to have you. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Were there any others for tonight, Mr.
No,
Berry? No? Okay. All right, so we are, let me readjust my desk here for a moment. Make sure that I get to the right page. Oh, goodness. So many minutes. Okay. All right, so at this time, we're moving on to new business. We have a proclamation to read for the 100th birthday of a citizen, which is always exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation as it will be done. We have, I believe, a laminated copy for, okay. So honoring the 100th birthday of Mary Helen Gary Wolfrey. Whereas Mary Helen Gary Wolfrey was born July 2nd, 1925 in the Middle Swamp community of Gates County, North Carolina, has lived a life marked by love, faith, service, and dedication to her family and community. And whereas Mary found joy in music, singing in her church choir alongside her childhood sweetheart, Austin Wolfrey, whom she married on March 13th, 1946. Together, they had 12 children, raised with strong values of faith, family, and education. And whereas, through hard work in the fields, domestic service, and her role as a school bus driver for Gates County Public Schools, where she was recognized for her commitment to safety, Mary exemplified dedication and perseverance. And whereas she served her church, New Middle Swamp Missionary Baptist Church, with devotion, as a choir member, Sunshine Band leader, chairperson of Women's Day, and member of the Pastor's Aid Ministry, earning recognition for her faithful contributions. And whereas her service extended beyond the church to the community, including her active membership in the United Order of Tents, leadership as a 4-H leader, involvement in the Home Extension Program, PTA volunteer work, and her role as a community development activist working to improve rural life during the 1960s. And whereas her home became a place of welcome and kindness to countless children and neighbors over the years, reflecting her generous spirit and unwavering commitment to caring for others. And whereas Mary Helen Gary Wolfrey's life of service, hospitality, and faith continues to inspire her family, her church, and her community. Now, therefore, in recognition of her 100 years of life, love, and service, the Board of Commissioners of Gates County do hereby honor Mary Helen Gary Wolfrey on the occasion of her centennial birthday and express our deep appreciation for her many contributions. We join her family, friends, and the entire community in celebrating her remarkable legacy and wishing her continued blessings. Signed this 18th day of June, 2025. So that is incredibly exciting. We don't get to do many of those with the 100th. Would you like to, Madam Clerk, call? Yeah. Thank you. And then next on the agenda, we have the Juneteenth Proclamation. This is the first year that the county has recognized Juneteenth as a recognized holiday, as it should have been. We had decided in the board in December, which will be tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and read the proclamation for that, recognizing Juneteenth as a day of reflection and freedom. Whereas on June 19, 1865, more than 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to enforce the end of slavery, ensuring freedom for the last remaining enslaved African Americans in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, commemorates this historic moment and honors the strength, resilience, and enduring contributions of African Americans to our nation's history and culture. And whereas this day provides an opportunity for all people to reflect on the values of freedom, justice, and equality that remain central to the American experience. And whereas it is important to acknowledge and confront the legacy of slavery and systemic racism while also celebrating the rich cultural traditions and achievements of African Americans. And whereas communities across the country and within our own county come together on Juneteenth to educate, honor the past, and look forward to a future grounded in equity and understanding. Now therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Gates County do hereby proclaim June 19, 2025 as Juneteenth, a day of reflection and freedom in Gates County, and encourage all residents to observe this day with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities that promote learning, unity, and respect for all. Signed this 18th day of June 2025. Yes, so if we could have a motion to accept both of those proclamations for our minutes and record.
Madam Chair, I motion that both proclamations be accepted.
All right, we have a second and a second. All right, all in favor? And that is unanimous. So thank you, ma'am. Yes. All right. Next on the agenda, item C, under new business, Commissioner Forsythe sent an email to county administration in reference to single-wide manufactured homes in the county. Audience, you can see the email and detailed response from Ms. Lisa Cherry in the agenda packet. Are there any other questions on this? And we'll lead this to.
You had questions?
No, I was hoping you just addressed the questions that were posed for everybody's better understanding.
Well, sure. You just want to read the questions you had?
If you want to do it that way. You're the expert.
You want to put them up on the board? Okay. All right, I'll just go through the questions you asked then. I want to address the question on the one on Wellington Road. How about that? Oh, okay. All right, you had the question, is it legal to continue to place a single-wide trailer on a lot not previously housing a trailer? And yes, it is, if it's zoned by right, which would be for a manufactured home, residential manufactured home. So if it is zoned RMH, they can have a manufactured home on that. And yes, if there's a special use permit approved by the Board of Adjustment, you can have a single-wide trailer on that lot. And then, number two, you asked, is it legal to place a used single-wide trailer on any lot, first time or not? Yes, if it is zoned for a manufactured home again. Yes, if a special use permit is approved for a manufactured home. And yes, if it replaces an existing manufactured home in that zoning district that has been in place, including a manufactured home park. And if it meets the manufactured building home code requirements, wind zone requirements, and all other North Carolina building code requirements. And if they have paid taxes for the parcel, and I should also say the taxes for that, if the single-wide trailer. Probably like a VIN number, I would say, for that. I think it's personal. Well, Taylor can, is it personal, right? Personal property, right? Okay. Yeah, so if they pay those taxes, we'll get a certificate for that from her office typically. Then you asked what permit approval is required for a single-wide trailer to be installed on a lot or parcel. Zoning and building permits, or a special use permit, a floodplain permit if it's in a flood hazard area. So those are just an example of some of the permits. Unless they're doing clearing on a new lot, it could be various permits. You know, we just don't know until we get that specific information. You know, so it could vary.
and who specifically approves the placements for, or permits for those, zoning as far as that goes. And that would be the Board of Adjustment, if it's a special use permit, or myself, the planning director for the zoning permit. And then you wanted to see a list of those that have been placed lately. We had 5, then we had 1 that was open right now, and in the parameters in our permitting system, we had another one that was kind of going through some finals. So there's been another one that was approved on Medical Center Road lately that went through some final permits for the CO. So there's been another one added to that. So we haven't had that many as far as single wides. We've had manufactured homes, which can include double wides, but they can be used. People can call, and we'd be more than happy to look at the information, because there's a plate in a single wide home, because it's like, again, it's like a VIN number, and they have to certify that by this plate that's in there. If it's older, it can be under the sink, it can be where the electrical panel is, there's various places, but call us and we'll help out. Anytime you have a question, call our office. We do allow them in the county. We get these phone calls all the time, and people say, you don't allow them in Gates County. Yes, we do. It's against the law to zone out things like that. Yep. You have to allow the districts and have those, allow them in our county, and we do. We went back even to when we first had our software put in the system, and I think it was probably 20 we've had altogether. I mean, it's not a gracious plenty of single wides, but we've done a lot of double wides too. But we do allow them. But if people call our office, we'll go through step by step, or they can come in the office and we'll go over their parcel information and any applications. So we love talking about those things anytime. So is there any other questions?
That was very thorough. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I get that all my questions from this point forward, I'm referring straight to you.
That's fine. Just call our office.
That's the best part I heard in all of your responses. So. Okay.
Well, good.
Do we have any other questions?
And anybody in the office too, if they can help, we've got a great team. They will help out too. If they can answer those questions, really, they help out a lot. So CW, Scott, Edgar, even Frank will reach out and try to help too. So they'll help out anytime.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we have a budget amendment, our budget amendments. Please note the budget amendments that were added to the agenda, to the packet. Are there any questions for Mr. Robinson? No? Give you a second to find those.
Can I just say, it seems very straightforward. It looks like these are just movements of money from one account to another.
We can call them up to verify. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Robertson, yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Basically, the veterans got a grant, and I got to put it in and then set up an expense line. And the community center also got a grant, and that's what these two are.
Right.
Okay.
I thought it was.
All right. So do we have any other questions, or can we move into a motion to approve these amendments?
So moved.
So second.
All right. Do we have any discussion? Nope. All in favor? All right. Those have been approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Robertson. Moving into, so we will have a moment before we get to the public hearing. The clerk to the board will now have the floor for updates to the board.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Y'all received a application via email for Ryan Milter. He is requesting reappointment to the planning board, and he meets all requirements and has been recommended by Ms. Cherry.
Okay. And you said he's currently serving, so this will just be a reappointment for
Yes.
Mr. Miltier. Okay. Do we have any questions, comments, or discussion on this?
Straightforward.
Can we have a motion to move forward to accept his reappointment?
So moved.
Second.
All right. And all in favor? All right. That is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we have kind of set precedent of an hour and a half into a meeting, taking a brief recess. We will have a 5-minute recess before we go into the public hearing portion of the meeting, if we can get a motion to go into recess.
So moved. So seconded.
All right, all in favor? All right, so there will be a 5-minute timer, and at 5 minutes, we will come back into session. call? We're good, okay. All right, so I will need a motion to come out of recess.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we are now out of recess. We are moving into the public hearing for the proposed budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. If we could get a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
And all in favor? All right, so we are now into the public hearing. Before we go into, and I'll verify this with the clerk, before we go into the budget ordinance presentation, can we have, would it be appropriate to have those 5 changes from the proposed budget announced now? And then going into comment? Okay, so if we could go into those changes from the budget that we were presented, and my dates are, well, all over the place, beginning of June.
That's right.
To what we have now.
Okay. The proposed changes are the changing of funding school computer upgrading or computer labs was changed from $140,000 to $120,000. The removal of EC funding for Gates County schools was taken out in the amount of $150,000. Nutritional funding was kept at $130,000. The removal of Jim's Gets renovation for $100,000 was taken out. A 3% cost of living for county employees was included. And finally, these changes will bring the county tax increase of 1 cent to 67 cents.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. So I guess we will now open it for public comments or portion. Do we have anyone signed up? Okay.
We do not currently have anyone signed up on the sheet, but I do have correspondence via email that came in today. Excuse me. Norman Eason wrote, "Greetings. This letter is for the meeting tonight on the budget, which includes my disagreement with the property tax assessments that are extremely overestimated." He makes 4 bullet points here. Number 1, the assessments buildings appears to be based on replacement cost of the building and should not be allowed, as that would be what insurance companies use for lost buildings due to catastrophes. There's no transparency in these assessments and no reason whatsoever for these increases being so high. I propose these assessments and the rates to be tabled until a reasonable medium can be negotiated. Number 2, my appeal did little for satisfaction, and it appears this is being pushed through like it's no big deal. I challenge the entire Board of Commissioners to wake up and see what they are doing that negatively affects everyone in the county. My property tax alone could increase by another $1,500 to $2,000. That is outrageous. Number 3, it has been said it's because of all the new people moving into the county. That is an excuse, not a reason. They are bringing additional revenue through their taxes, and that should be enough to take care of inflation. Number 4, I researched adjacent counties to our county, and their rates are well below our rate. If anything, our rate needs to be reduced to match with the adjacent counties. Therefore, I vote no new assessment or reduced tax rate to match the adjacent counties. If they can run their county on lesser budgets, so can we. Thank you for your time. Norman Eason, Sunbury District.
Thank you. And I guess we'll ask, though, before we look to close, if there was anyone here that had comment that they wanted to make regarding the budget during the public hearing that did not sign up. Okay. All right, so we will need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay. All right, so at this time, do we have any discussion from the board?
Yeah, I guess I'll make comment if nobody else knows I always have some. The changes made take us from for clarity for the public, is the 0.66 cent, we were dropped from 0.84 that we're currently at, and that's relatively high compared to the neighboring counties. But with the proposed revenue neutral rate of 0.66, that would make us actually pretty low. I think one other of the counties that I look at closely would be slightly lower, but they went through a reevaluation last year. But the 0.67 that's proposed, the 1 penny more than the revenue neutral, just curious how much the 3% COLA affected that. Do you know that,
Mr. Robertson?
So how much of that affects that?
With the separation of the enterprise fund and the GETS fund and the reimbursement we get back on DSS, it nets out to about $120,000.
Right, okay.
Which is almost close to the penny.
Close to a penny, okay.
Just on.
So really 1 penny to give folks the 3% raise.
Okay.
Other question is one of the comments I asked about during the work session was about our taking stuff out of the fund balance as part of the normal budget. And I just got this, not trying to be too critical, but just got this.
Yeah, I just got through putting it.
Yeah, a few minutes ago, but I hadn't found it in here yet where that was addressed or changed, or was that left the same?
It wasn't changed, and it should be right at the end of the revenue section, down at the bottom.
Oh, this right, is that right there? That's water sewer.
Yeah, right there, sure.
Right.
Okay. So it should be the last line on page 4.
Yeah, that'd be the last line on page
317.
4.
Okay, so is that the same amount though? I thought it was higher.
About 317.
Okay.
In that neighborhood.
I thought in the draft it was like 350 or 370.
No, 317.
It was?
Yes, sir.
317.
Because I have not
Okay.
touched that since.
So reducing that, taking out a fund balance in no way would affect the tax rate. It wouldn't lower it. It would not bring that from 0.67 back to 0.66.
No.
It wouldn't do that because it's coming
Unless
out of
you
fund
eliminated
balance.
doing the projects they were working on, so.
Right.
And all you would do then is just not use the fund balance.
So for that 317, is there a list of actual projects that are planned for
We
that?
actually was one presented, I thought, the last time we had.
There was
the
some
meeting.
comments made about a few, but
Yeah, 'cause
I didn't see it as a list.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
forward it to you, but.
Okay, all right.
But there's actually a kind of low fund balance allocation compared to previous years.
I know. I'm thankful for small deeds, believe me. Yeah, I
But
appreciate
also,
it.
one other thing that I would like to emphasize is if we do a good job on getting revenue in and maintaining our expenses, the odds of you using it are slimmed down greatly.
Small.
So it's probably, we might even put money back in the fund balance.
Which is what my hope is. Okay.
I'm always hoping for that too.
That's what it's been the last couple.
It's done it for the
years.
last couple of years.
It's kind of a placeholder.
Basically, that's what it is.
Capital project. They were, animal shelter roof that we had discussion
I
over.
remember there was comments. I guess I didn't
Yeah,
see a breakdown of which ones.
Yeah, it was the radios for
Yeah,
the
there was
towers.
5 or 6 listed for EMS.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a little something for DSS, and there was the animal shelter. And I can't remember what else.
The radios for the towers.
Yeah, the
state
tower was
towers.
in there,
Oh,
yeah.
the bike.
So there were several things, most of them which are going to be necessity, but it is a one-time expense.
Yeah.
But everything that's coming out of the fund balance is completely a project, one-time.
One time
It's a
event, yes.
But they're all capital improvement projects.
Right.
Yes.
And majority of them were emergency management type.
A lot of them on the list, value-wise, I can't really tell you who carries the
Right.
most weight, but
Okay.
he had a lot of small projects he was working with.
That's all the questions.
All right.
One thing that I wanted to ask if it's a typo, under section 9, is it C, it says purchase orders and contracts that are not complete and remain, should that be completed or non-compete? I couldn't tell. It says not compete. I think it's just a typo, isn't it? I couldn't understand whether you're saying they
I
were
think it should be not
non-complete
completed.
or not completed.
I'm using an example from the
I couldn't tell.
previous, may have not caught
It's
that.
right here. It's right there.
Yes, and it's continuing.
It's supposed to be complete.
Completed,
Not completed. Okay, okay, all right.
given context, yeah.
All right, no, that's all right.
Fine.
Okay,
All right.
I'm good.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments, questions for Mr. Robertson, discussion on the budget?
I know y'all are working long hours and all that kind of good stuff on this, so I appreciate everybody's time and with you and your team and Mr. Sauer to get this thing done for us. Thank you.
We appreciate that.
I
Like he
agree.
did have one
A
more.
lot of hard work's been put into this.
The only other question I had is, under the fees, the fee listing or whatever, I can't tell which ones are increases or decreases. Or do we have a way that y'all can tell us? I'm not I went through these and looked at them and thought, well, I can't tell if anything looks
Well,
like it's a jump or not.
We can find out, but in all honesty, they come from the departments,
That's what I figured.
and it comes to me, and we just include it in the packet.
Okay.
So I could get him to point out which ones were increased or whatever.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
there were some increases in planning and zoning. I can't, it was a handful of increases, like 25 to 50 or 50 to 75. But I can get a list of those. That
Yeah.
was really basically the only things that you.
Yeah, I looked at I tried to look through these, and some of these I recall myself from interacting with, and nothing seemed gigantically different, but I just wanted to, I think we should highlight it at some point. Here's changes that are occurring in fees, so people will be aware of them. Yeah. Okay.
All
Sorry.
right. Commissioner Roundtree, did you have any comment or question?
No, but I do want to make yes, I want to make
Okay.
a comment. I want to thank the staff on getting the budget very close to revenue neutral, 67.67. And like Commissioner Berryman said, it's a tedious job, but y'all accomplished it and took our input. And I want to thank you, Mr. Robinson, County Manager Sauer, Assistant County Manager Warren Perry, and all the finance team for a job well done.
Yeah, it's a complete effort on all of us down there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Echo off everything else. So we asked for a revenue neutral budget, and they presented us one at the last meeting. We did some of our own math, and some stuff we would like to see, some that will benefit the school. We're just like the school lunches, the nutrition program. We're suspecting possibly a Article 44 tax to vote on next year. Is it 44?
46.
46,
Yes.
I'm sorry. That will be, that's the sales tax.
Right.
So this may be a one-time expenditure for us, and it's coming out of a capital fund that we're able to use for the school system. So that's possibly something that we will not have to fund next year
Hopefully.
out of our property tax fund.
Yeah, if the
So,
public approves.
thank you for everything y'all done. I said it last time, it amazes me more and more every time I go through one of these processes, because I've been through a few of them. Now, and to see how close this man right here comes at the end of the year. He comes close. He's got he dials it right in. So just say thank you to you and your team, and I'll make sure I tell Mr. Sauer that too, because he spends a lot of time and effort on it as well. So.
And yeah, I'm gonna follow all of them and say again, thank you. You took a lot of opinion, and I feel like we've all had to compromise a little bit to get here, which is a good thing. So yes, thank you for this. The budget ordinance was thorough, and I feel like it well-defined. So at this point, if we have no other questions, do we have any motions to adopt the budget as presented?
I make a motion to adopt the budget as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any further discussion? Okay, so by a show of hands, all in favor of adopting our budget as presented? And that is unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to move into county manager report and updates. Assistant County Manager Perry, do you have anything to report or update on?
I do not have any update, but I have comments.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I see Sheriff Campbell here, and I just want to take a minute to thank not only the Sheriff's Department, but if y'all weren't aware, we had a bad storm this past weekend, and Saturday night and Sunday night, we had a leak supposedly in the courthouse that flooded the courthouse, the new courthouse. So I do want to make a special thanks to not only the Sheriff's Department, but Building and Grounds, and that's Crystal and her team. Soil Conservation was here, the Gatesville Fire Department, EMS, Register of Deeds, and the Clerk of Court's office. And all offices will be open this Friday, and I think next Friday the first court appearance will be had again next Friday. So thanks to many of the people that helped clean that up. That's it.
Thank you. All right, we will then go into commissioner comments. I will start down at this end and work our way down.
Well, first of all, and I believe the chairs want to maybe touch on this a little bit as well, but you know, we spent this past week at County Advocacy Days up in Raleigh. Took a good opportunity to be able to sit down with our state legislatures to be able to advocate for our county and our county's needs, because we know we all have a lot of them. And it's going to take time to build the infrastructure that we need as a county. You know, it seems like our county just in recent years have really been lobbying our state to get additional state funding and those type of things like that. So we're going to be working hard to be able to do that. I think we're all in the same boat, got our oars out and rowing just as hard as we can to be able to bring that in. And our conversations that we had with our state representatives were very positive. We'll continue to work with them over the next coming years to be able to make a vision come forward. I think we got a lot of work that we need to do as a board ourselves to kind of centralize on what that vision is, so that way we can come to them with a united front and give them a document that they can walk around and up at Raleigh and get them to understand all the needs that are really here in Gates County for additional infrastructure that we need. I mean, we've been talking about the water for a while now. You know, once the budget's kind of closed up, it'd be a good segue next meeting to get an update on where we are with the $10 million that was granted to us from the state legislature in a few budgets ago, and where we stand with the designs and how those things are kind of coming along. So, because that's a big thing for us, is to continue to upgrade our infrastructure, and that means not just water and sewer and those type of things that we've been concentrating on, but also facilities and those type of things that really meet the needs of the county and give us a place to be able to do the county's business and support our citizens. So we're going to be moving down the road on some of those things. I look forward to working with my county commissioners on all of that. So looking forward to that. So thank you.
Vice Chair.
So, had a couple meetings this week, kind of, I don't want to say off-the-wall meetings, but unusual meetings. Had a meeting with a hunting club to smooth some bumpy roads out, rock roads, I guess you would say. And so that went well. I was glad they reached out to me to be able to get with my constituents, because it was in my area 100%. And actually got to enjoy bringing two parties to an agreement, and something I don't usually do, but I do offer that service now. The budget, I'm glad we got a budget approved and moved forward. Looking forward to seeing the headway we've made in the water department on the fluoride. I know they've been doing a lot of work around that and testing, and Dr. Sproul and Riley. probably has some suggestions for us. So got a couple meetings coming up next week. Got a landfill board coming up soon. So I'm just looking forward to getting back into the normalcy of a commissioner with this budget behind us. So thank you all for coming out tonight. I always love seeing a big crowd. So safe travels home, and thank you all for coming.
Commissioner Roundtree.
Yes, I want to thank everyone that came out tonight. Being a part of your local government is very important. It's important to be engaged, important to be involved. It's important when you make public comments. It's important in the entire process. I want to say also, I really had a great time talking with our Senator, Mr. Hannick, and also accompanied with our two lobbyists, Mr. Jackson Stampsel and Mr. Bob Steinberg, as we talk about the interests of Gates County, things that we want to get accomplished, things that we need. Having that dialogue and that understanding, I tell you, it's priceless, priceless. And we do it for our constituents, we do it for Gates County, so Gates County can have the resources that they need on the state level. Also, I attended District 1 NCACC meeting, and that was great also. We had a chance to honor a heroic hand. A gentleman, I believe his name is Michael. He was honored for his service in the community. You know, he did numerous amounts of things for the community in Camden. The meeting took place in Camden at the Camden Public Library. Also there was our president, the NCACC president, Tara Davis. Also the NCACC director, executive director, Mr. Leonard. And we received legislative briefs, updates on the association. It was a very informative District 1 meeting. And I want to thank Commissioner Sissy Adelit for hosting it along with the county managers and the commissioners from Camden. Very productive, very productive. And next week, I will be attending the ARHS roundtable, legislative roundtable, also advocating for public health. So again, thank you everyone who came out tonight and being engaged and being a part of your local government, because we are public servants working for you.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Forsyth?
For my part, I'd like to mention the tax rate. I had talked to several people beforehand and was adamant about trying to hold the line to our revenue neutral. I varied a little bit from that, and I will admit that some criticism about behind-the-scenes discussions, but with talking to fellow commissioners and all, I was convinced that making sure that, it seems like the only thing that pushed us over that revenue neutral was making sure we gave our county employees a cost of living increase, and that seems reasonable. I can tell you as a federal employee, many years, you never knew what you were going to get to the last second. I think only 1 year did we get a 0, 1 year I think a 1%, but people have to pay their bills, and I varied from my pledge to say vote nothing above the revenue neutral only because of that, and so I want to make sure that's clear. But I was able to do that because of the hard work. It's already been stated by these folks of our staff, our finance office, hard work, listening to us at work sessions, the other commissioners and all discussing it heartily. So again, public participation, coming to work sessions, tough to do in the middle of the day, I know, but coming to those, you'd have heard a lot of discussion about these things, and credit goes to the staff for trying to make us get as close to that as possible. And with all the hard work and some of the deletions that were noted, it got us very, very close, and I appreciate it. I will say there's still going to be a lot of impact to folks out there when they go to pay their bills. There's going to be more money paid. I still haven't gotten mine. I need to call somewhere. And one other person has told me they have not gotten theirs in the mail either. And I know it's not going to be good, but I haven't gotten mine. So I can't complain mine's as bad as anybody else's, but I suspect it is. And in particular, I want to point out, y'all made the cut about the GITS. We talked about moving the GITS facility to try and assess and help them. And you pulled that out. I think that's important. A lot of people were concerned about the folks that do our food support for folks in the community that need it. Working on Saturdays, a lot of people told me at some Ruritan Club meetings that, oh my gosh, the cars are going to be lined up 37 going north out of Gatesville. If you move us over to the Gitz facility, they're going to have police out there at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to start directing traffic. And so I think we'll end up doing this move or something similar at some point, but we got to make sure we can accommodate and not create ourselves another problem. So I think that was a good decision. Also for public, the public notice was put out, we're going to go out to Ashton Lewis tomorrow during lunchtime and meet with their leadership. They're a key component to the community, an employer, a valuable fixture here, and we as a group are going to go and I guess see and interact with them, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity to kind of see what we can better do, make sure we're working cooperatively where we can to make sure we support those businesses that we do have here. So that's important. The last thing, a little less positive, is the fluoride issue still weighs heavily on me. This is the month of Consumer Confidence Report, CCRs, being published. It's an EPA requirement for every water system across the state. We just published ours in the community I work in. We have 17 different systems that we work. One of ours had a fluoride level of 4.2. We treat it. We have a fluoride removal system in place. We're probably going to do an upgrade on that this year and pull out all the equipment and replace it to replace it all. It's going to cost us on the order of $250,000 to $300,000 to replace all the equipment out to keep that fluoride level below. That concerns me here in Gates County that we still aren't addressing it. We still are not. We're pitter-pattering around it. It's been more than a year since it was brought up publicly and discussed. I've brought it up. I'm concerned. I filter my water at home, so I don't worry about it for me and my family, but I feel like I'm letting the community down by us not taking more aggressive action. And I still would look for us to do something soon to address this. For the kids that are 8-year-olds and under, pregnant women, the fluoride is documented to necessarily impact kids' cognitive abilities when they're exposed to high levels of fluoride above 2.2 milligrams per liter. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, so you mentioned one of mine would definitely been as they hit on the county advocacy days that we had last week. The opportunity to sit with the lobbyist and Representative Ward, Senator Hanig, was, I think, led to some pretty great conversation. One thing that Senator Hanig asked as we were talking about economic development and things for the county, he straight up just said, put it on paper and I need to see it. So our next step, we get through this budget, we need to start making sure that the economic development plans for the county are going forward, that we have it on paper, we have something to present to our legislative representatives so that we can move forward with some of these projects to hopefully change some of the dynamics so that these tight budgets aren't quite as tight in years to come if we can get down that road. Again, reiterating what others have said, I greatly appreciate all comments tonight, greatly appreciate all input. It is welcomed and it is encouraged, and there will not be a meeting that we have that I don't encourage anyone with anything to say to come say it. That goes from the board to the public. I feel like it's important to say what needs to be said. I feel it's important to hear different opinions. I feel those conversations do lead to things that are productive, and I look forward to moving forward and getting some things in place so that we can prevent anything like this from happening again. It was not the direction I saw the meeting going when we set the agenda last Wednesday originally, and a lot has happened in a week. So we hope to make some positive strides moving forward so that we can prevent anything like this from occurring again. And I will close with that and just mention all business on the agenda has been addressed. So if we could have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, I thought we wanted to stay here for a minute. All in favor? All right, and that is unanimous. We are adjourned.
How you doing? Yep. Good.
What I do? Baseball song. Okay.
do, sir? Good to see you, but it's all right.